Hello friends, my name is Lokesh. In this session, we will look into the Hicks substitution effect. As we have been knowing that there were two great economists, Hicks and Slutsky, which have decomposed the price effect into substitution effect and income effect. So in this particular lecture, we will look into how the Hicks have given his idea about the decomposition of price effect into substitution effect and income effect. So let's first draw the diagram, and let's assume firstly let us take the variables. So let's say there's a commodity x1 and it is a price with p1, and there is a different commodity called x2 with price p2, and the income of that particular individual is m. So the budget equation is p1 x1 plus p2 x2 is equal to m. So this is the budget equation. Here I am also assuming that x1 is a normal good. It is a implicit assumption that I am taking here, that x1 is a normal good. So I will try to decompose these effects by way of the price changes. So let's draw the diagram. The diagram could be like this. Let give me some space here. Let's say we have this equation. So this is for x2 and this is for x1. So let us firstly take this is our budget line and this is our initial indifference curve. Assume it to be touching like here. It is touching at this point. This is our initial indifference curve, and we are consuming something about x1 commodity, x1 amount of commodity at even level of equilibrium. Now let us assume that the price p1 corresponding to commodity 1 has changed. Now it has, let's say, decreased. p1 has decreased. So p1 has decreased to p1 dash such that p1 dash is lesser than p1. Since the prices has increased, so there will be tendency to buy more of commodity x1 given x1 is a normal good. So what will happen? It will cause the rotation of budget line. Let's say this is a budget line CD. It will rotate from point C like this, C to D dash. Now what will happen? What does the Hicks says? Hicks says you have to compensate the customer in such a way that you are making the utility of that particular individual same. Means you have to draw a different budget line which is tangent to this indifference curve. So if you are drawing a budget line which is tangent to this indifference curve, so it will pass like this. So you see they are touching, let's say they are touching at this point. Let me call it x2, and this is e2. So at e2 you can see that my new budget line, that is C dash, and this is D dash. They are like in such a way that they are able to afford the bundle which is lying in the original indifference curve. So this difference that have moved from x1 to x2 is called substitution effect. It is called substitution effect in the sense that we have not increased the budget line, but just the price change impact has been recognized here. So from x1 to x2 is termed as substitution effect. And if let's say the new indifference curve, that IC2 is up to here, so this movement will be from x2 to x3 will be income effect. So total price effect is x1 to x3. So x1 to x3 is total price effect, and total price effect is decomposed into two effects. One is substitution effect and substitution effect is measured between x1 to x2, and income effect is measured between x2 to x3. So in that way we can say that through Hicksian substitution impact we are able to move from E1 to E2 and E2 to E3, and correspondingly x1, x2 and x3 point, and our demand for commodity x1 has increased with the change in the price for x1. Or if we want to draw this substitution effect in the demand curve, we can use it like this. We can go with the price here P in this commodity x1. We can match that initially with price P1 the demand was x1, so we can extend it to here, that this is x1 and let's say this price was P1. Now what had happened, the prices had fallen from P1 to P1 dash. Since prices had fallen, so it must be here. And what happened to the quantity? The quantity increased from x1 to x2. So we can write about this. So x1 to x2. So if we join the points from this point to this point and connecting these 2 points, we will get the compensated demand curve. It is also called Hicksian demand curve. It is called Hicksian demand curve. And if we want to look for the Marshallian demand curve, then we can look into entire x1 to x3. So if we extend x1 to x3, the same price P1, we will get the Marshallian demand curve. This Marshallian demand curve represents the entire price change. That means it includes both substitution effect plus income effect. And the Hicksian demand curve, it includes only substitution effect. And here we can see, in case of normal good, the slope of Hicksian demand curve is steeper, or it is inelastic as compared to Marshall demand curve. Okay, so I think we have learned a lot of new concepts here. What we have done, just let me recapitalize for you. We started from E1 point, which was in the IC1. Let me use a different pen, it will give you a good impression. So we started from E1. We went from E1, which was in the initial IC1, then we went E1 to E2, and from E1 to E3, and this is how we progressed. And this was the substitution effect, and this was the income effect, and all that we have solved is here for the case of normal good. In the different section we will look into how the case will be resolved for the other different types of goods. So I think if you would if you have liked this video, you can like this and subscribe this channel. Thank you.